Hey, everybody, welcome to the Others podcast. I'm your host, Steve Penny. We are back for another episode. We are going back to 2006, peak Pharrell time. And joining me, as always, this week, my man Rafa. How you doing, man?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. You've recently been on your travels. You came back last week, and then you're off again on your travels soon, aren't you?
Yeah, man. Right now, I'm going to travel for work, and we are going to go to some four countries like Belgium, Holland, um, what else? Germany and Hungary.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah,
So, yes, we will, or I will apologize in advance if the episodes aren't as regular as they should be while Rafa's away. I will try to find some replacements to try and fill Rafa's large shoes. Obviously, impossible to do, but we'll try and rope
exactly.
somebody in here. But yeah, we may have some scheduling issues. So yeah, apologies if we're not as consistent as we should be. But then I rarely am anyway. So
Yeah.
that's how it goes. But yeah, let's get on to this week's track. As I mentioned, 2006, peak Pharrell era, around the time of In My Mind. And this isn't actually a Pharrell track, but we are doing Margarita by Sleepy Brown, featuring Big Boi and Pharrell. I think last week or last episode we talked about "Wanna Love You Girl" by Robin Thicke, which is wasn't commercially successful, but is popular amongst Neptune's fans and is a bit of I guess, a cult classic. I think this one even more so.
Yes,
I think everyone has love for this song.
true, man. If anyone out there hate this song, I hate you. I hope you die. No, no,
Wow.
that's too extreme, but no, you cannot hate this song. It's too good.
I think yeah, everyone always has good things to say about this. So again, I'm surprised that it didn't kind of commercially perform particularly well, but we'll get onto that. We'll go through a few numbers first and a few facts and things. So, released on the 20th of June, I think, 2006, from Sleepy Brown's third album, Mr. Brown. And this kind of came in terms of the Pharrell chronology right after Angel and then right before Moneymaker. Moneymaker, one of the tracks that I absolutely hate, but it won him a Grammy somehow. I have no
Yes.
idea how that worked, but it's one that I really don't like. And it is on the list of tracks to discuss in the future, but let's not go there just yet. This track itself was released as a single. It was the lead single off of the album. It only got to well, when I first read this, I thought, oh wow, it got to number 8 on the US Billboard. That's really good. But then I
True.
realized it was the bubbling under Hot 100 singles chart, so
Damn.
not the actual main chart.
Yeah.
So yeah, it got to number 8, and then from what I read, it sort of fell off fairly quickly. The video got some play. It got to number 2 on BET's 106 and Park for a short time, but that was kind of all it did, which again really sort of surprises me because I know Sleepy Brown kind of commercially isn't like a really well known name, but you got Big Boy in there, obviously from Outcast. You got Pharrell at peak kind of Pharrell time, or maybe not peak, but on the way up. So and a video that's obviously had a little bit of money spent on it. Um, they've gone over to Spain to shoot it, so a little bit of money's been put in there. So yeah, I'm quite surprised this didn't do as well as I expected it to do.
Yeah, true. I remember at that time when the song came out and the video came out, I remember thinking, oh, maybe is because like Pharrell's image is saturated because he was, like you say, like he was peak Pharrell, like he was doing everything at once. And it was the only like excuse I could came up with because the song is not it's not even the song is so good, it's just so catchy, so I don't know, it makes you feel good, and it's about drinking, it's about a drink, and I'm like, oh, come on now. And it came out like next to the summer, so it was insane. That was that song was not like successfully as it could be.
Yeah, it's a real summer song. And like I say, it was released around sort of June, July time as well. So you would have thought it would have, hit perfectly, but I guess not. And I don't really remember this getting any sort of play really on the radio in the UK at least. I don't know if elsewhere around the world it got much sort of radio play, but it certainly didn't perform on the charts very well.
Yeah, I remember in Brazil they didn't play. It didn't play a lot on the radio. I actually don't remember like hearing on the radio at all. But I remember the video playing a lot on MTV Brazil and on some other channels because I think Pharrell was huge on MTV Brazil, and there's another channel that is called Mucho in Brazil that is it was pretty famous about because they are playing a lot of videos, and I think the fame that Pharrell got in Brazil was because of those channels. It was because of the video clips and everything. Because I don't recall like Pharrell songs playing a lot on the radio, to be honest.
Also, with this video, there is supposedly a making of video. I saw reference to it in an article somewhere that was made for MTV2. I don't think I've ever seen that. At least I don't recall ever seeing it. And I had a kind of a search through the internet today and yesterday to kind of see if I could find anything, but couldn't, unfortunately. Is there any? Have you ever sort of spotted that over the years?
No, never.
I've got very vague recollections that I may have seen some clips, very short clips of some of the filming of it, but I've never seen like a proper making of short video or documentary or anything that would have, gone with it.
Yeah, me too. I don't recall. Like for I Wanna Love a Girl, I remember having something, but for this track, no.
If anyone out there is aware of it or has a link to it or a copy of it, then please let me know because I'd like to give that a watch. It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then as I was kind of digging through some of the notes and things, again, sort of like, I know of Sleepy Brown and his work with like Dungeon Family and Outcast and stuff like that, but I haven't sort of, let's say, followed him over the years. I'm sure I've got a few of his tracks in my music library. But one thing I did notice while going through some notes about him, which I didn't realize, is that he co-wrote TLC's Waterfalls.
Oh, that's awesome.
I assume he's done kind of reasonably success. He's been reasonably successful uh, from that. That's still a song that gets played nowadays. And
Yeah.
when did that come out? 30 years ago or something now?
Wow.
25
Yes,
years ago?
probably. Yeah, probably. I think it's 97, 98.
It would have been, yeah, late 90s, yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. So he co-wrote that, I think, with other people. So, yeah, he's not getting all the money from it, all the royalties, but I'm sure he did kind of reasonably well from it.
Yeah. Even though I was never like a huge fan of him, and I think I know this song, and I know the other one, I think is with Outkast, that's called I Can't Wait. But rather than that, like, I never heard it, but I feel like he's kind of underrated because he's pretty cool. Like, he's pretty good as a singer, everything. Yeah.
He reminds me of like a sort of Charlie Wilson character,
Oh yeah, true, true.
that kind of pops up in different songs with collaborates with different people and stuff like that. But then, yeah, if you know about him, you know that in his own right, he's, a great singer, a great songwriter, etc.
Yeah, true. It's a good comparison.
And I think, yeah, with Sleepy Brown, he's done a lot of like production as well over the years with. with Outkast and Dungeon Family people and stuff like that. So yeah, singer, songwriter, producer, he does it all.
It's awesome.
Now this video, a little bit hit and miss. I found I like the video in general. Again, the video I think is shot in a way that it fits very well with the kind of summery, feel good vibe of the song. I really like the color palette in the video.
True.
Um, and obviously, it's shot in Spain, kind of early in the summer, so it's lovely blue skies, blue seas, and things like that. But then there's a kind of a second part to it, which is like the story, and I'm going to say story in air quotes, the story part of it that they're trying to run through the video, and maybe we'll get into that a bit more in a while. But that part, I think, as of most videos of that sort of period, it really didn't work.
At all.
No.
Like that guy that came out of nowhere starting to talk. I don't even understand what he's saying. Like, wow. And I don't even care. Like, no, okay, man. She's just babbling something and I don't care.
So we do see that. I think the opening shot of the video is Sleepy Brown just sort of chilling, and Big Boy comes up and he's something in his hand. I guess it's like a piece of paper or something. Um, and from what I can kind of gather, it's yeah, Margarita is like this code word that they have, or they've kind of found out, and they're going to go off and do what they kind of want to do. So we go from that to them. It cuts to an old kind of classic Rolls Royce Corniche with a very pimp license plate, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
But then we kind of see them, yeah, then cuts to all three of them in the car. So Sleepy Brown, Big Boy, and Pharrell chilling in the back, but driving slower than a grandmother
Oh man.
along the little kind of roads of Mallorca. I guess there was an insurance issue that said, you know, this is an old classic car. You're three music artists. You can't go above 10 miles an hour or something. But in the video, it just made it look really ridiculous. They didn't even try and sort of
That's
speed it
true.
up or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
The car just kind of creeps along the screen and along the road, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, man. I think the same. And I thought that I was being a hater. Like, man, like just drive this fucking car. But but I also thought, oh, maybe it's just the vibe of the video because they are not in a rush. They are just chilling. They are in vacation, whatever. But yeah, man, like it looks ridiculous.
I think it is probably partly meant to kind of signify that kind of laid back sort of vibe. But yeah, I think there was some speed limits put in place there to get them to not like
100%.
go too fast or anything, and it just doesn't work in the video. It's noticeably slow.
Yeah. Or maybe the card is like is screwed up or something because these old cars, like sometimes it's just a show, just for show.
I would have thought they'd have I don't know, done something in post production and improved it, sped the frames up slightly, the speed of the video. But yeah, I guess not. They just decided to leave it as it was. But it does. Luckily, you don't see much of the car. But if you kind of pay attention to it and notice it, then it does feel a bit weird.
Yeah, true. And another thing that I feel about like watching it again, it feels like they they didn't have a lot of time to make the footage because there's a lot of footage that you see like they seems like kind of distracted. Like they should have cut the scene or use it another footage to replace it. But I think they didn't have a lot of footage to put on the video because there's a lot of parts that it looks good, but when you pay attention, I don't know, for someone in the back or for some of the models, they look a little bit weird. I don't know if you noticed that. There's a lot of parts that Pharrell and sometimes like Big Boy, they seem like kind of distracting on the back. Like, man, like look at you the camera. Like, what are you guys doing?
I guess having flown everybody over to Mallorca,
Yeah,
you've probably only got a few days to shoot it, a couple of days maybe.
yeah,
Again, you've got to look at like the time in which it was done when Pharrell's still probably promoting and touring stuff from In
true.
My Mind as well. So his time's probably pretty limited. And I think, yeah, you see them at like a villa, you see them obviously in the car, you see them at like a harbor, you see them on a boat at the end. Like,
Yeah,
moving around from like location to location, even if they're in a small area, is going to be kind of quite time consuming. So
yeah, true.
it might be the case that they did kind of shoot it quite quickly.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there's a lot of money on this video. And I remember like back in 2006 when I saw the video, because I don't know if you remember this, but this song leaked like almost 2 years before they released it. So there was a lot of versions of it. Like there's the version without Big Boy, and then there's the version with a different verse. Like it's not totally different, but some parts are different. And yeah, and I think like almost 2 years or maybe a year before it leaked. So when the song actually came out, I remember thinking, oh, if you think about it, they probably produced that song. They did that song on 2004 to 2005, and that on that era, like Pharrell productions was pretty expensive. So I think it leaked, and they were like, "No, but we already paid for this expensive song, so you have to do something with it." And they did. They did a video for it, and it also looks pretty expensive. So yeah, and it's unfortunate that it didn't work out. I mean, it's pretty cool, and a lot of people like it, but I probably think that they they were expecting something more like from the song, especially on the era that Pharrell was like super hot.
Yeah, and it's funny because I noticed looking through the Sleepy Brown sort of discography, he never released like another single after this one.
Oh,
He's
really?
still appeared on things. I think he still had one more album, but
Damn.
I don't think there were any kind of like official single launches.
He's still paying for this shit.
Yeah, that TLC Waterfalls money must have come in very handy to pay back
Yeah,
some of
man.
this.
Damn, man. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, and then when we get into the song, like the start of it, we've got a Big Boy verse, which I really like,
yeah.
and I actually wish it was a bit longer. It ends kind of quite abruptly.
True.
Like you just feel that it could have gone on like for a few more sort of bars. A nice flow, kind of a playful kind of rap about kind of getting off work and meeting a woman and kind of going out drinking and stuff like that. And then as part of sort of Sleepy Brown's ones, I'd never really kind of paid attention to the lyrics previously, but kind of reading through them earlier today, it's got some of the Robin Thicke vibes about it, kind of him in a bar or a club, kind of, staring at and admiring a woman from afar in a slightly kind of creepy way.
Nice.
Yeah, but I guess that's R&B of that time, I guess.
Yeah, true. And the lyrics really makes me think that I guess Pharrell wrote everything because it sounds like Pharrell wrote it. Especially those creepy things, like these little creepy things that Pharrell always puts on some songs. But I never thought about how it kind of like have some Robin Thicke vibes. I think you're right. Yeah.
I just meant from the sheer creepiness of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
they are all they're all credited as writers on there, and so is Chad as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I can imagine Pharrell having a lot of input into maybe not so much the big boy part, but the Sleepy Brown part maybe,
Yeah, true.
because it is that sort of thing that Pharrell would also doing his songs, that kind of R&B type singing, and and for other people as well, not just his own music.
Yeah, true. It makes me think about because I remember back in when the song was released, I remember thinking like, oh, this could be on in my mind like pretty easily.
Hmm.
It has the same vibe, the instrumentals and everything. Yeah. It, and and Chad being on it, it makes me think how because I don't know if you remember this, or maybe I'm just like being crazy, but I remember when Pharrell was promoting in my mind, I think he said or someone said that Chad was going to be on some of the songs. And after a couple of months, because I don't know if you also remember that, but the release date was like, I think it changed like two or three times. And then all of a sudden, Fred was like, "Oh no, no, everything was produced by me. Like I did everything." So it may be Margarita. It might be like one of those songs that is supposed to be on in my mind, and he cut it out.
Possibly, yeah. I think in my mind, there were a few kind of iterations of it, and yeah, I think Chad was involved initially until, yeah, for whatever reason they decided to just make it a solely Pharrell produced album. But yeah, it could be. Could have
Yeah,
kind of come. It was definitely from around that time. I would certainly like to have heard a demo of Margarita, if such a thing existed, with Pharrell singing the sort of Sleepy Brown parts as well. I think that would be really interesting to hear how he actually does it,
yeah, true. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah,
if it even
maybe.
exists. That is.
Yeah, true.
And then speaking of Pharrell in his part, a kind of classic Pharrell hook, all kind of sung pretty much in sort of falsetto or nearly sort of falsetto, kind of quite high in his range. I really like the kind of slight key changes at the end of some of the lines, and then on the very last line where it kind of goes up. And then something I don't think sort of Pharrell does that often, but the lyrics in the hook kind of really match the beat as well, and it makes
True.
it. I think that's what adds to that kind of catchiness that you mentioned earlier. It makes it very, I don't know, in English we would say like sing-songy. It's a very easy thing, very easy melody to remember because the lyrics and the beat kind of match almost exactly. And I think that's what adds to that sort of catchiness of it.
Yeah, true. I don't think I haven't asked for a margarita in my life, and that song didn't pop up on my mind. Like, there's no way. Like every time I ask for a margarita, or if I see on the menu that song, like immediately, it's insane. That's how catchy that song was. It is still to this day.
It's one that I haven't actually listened to in quite a while. I haven't watched a video in a while, but it does occasionally just pop into my head. It is one of those songs.
Yeah, yeah. Especially the part that he extended his vocals like everybody hey. It makes you feel like good and I don't know, it's so smooth also like all the vibes. I think the song if that song was successful, I think everybody would hate it. Like everybody hates I don't know, Happy for example. Because I remember when Happy came out, like everybody was like, "Oh my God, this song is so good! Like, makes you feel good." I remember like the first day when the Happy came out, I was hearing that song the entire day. But I hate it now because we heard it so much, and I think and I think Margarita it will be the same if it was successful because it's so catchy and the hook is kind of also I don't know I would say like repetitive, but it is not. I think it's just super catchy, and I think probably Sleepy Brown like put some work on it because, like you said, the vocals, the harmonies it goes pretty well with the beat. So maybe he helped, or maybe Pharrell was just so super inspired by him, and he was like, no, 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 I have to do like a really Sleepy Brow song for him, and he did.
Yeah, most definitely. Then we get on to the at least in my notes, the story within the video itself. Again, let's try and pick it apart and try and work out what the hell's going on. So as we mentioned earlier, Big Boy comes up and says he's worked something out or he's got something and it's Margarita and he's holding a piece of paper or something or other.
Yeah,
And then we get kind of, I don't know, a third of the way through the video, maybe, or halfway through. And there's a cut scene with a guy at a pool who is meant to be some kind of like London gangster. He's got like an East London accent. And the way it's, I can't remember the actual wording now, but he kind of implies that, Margarita is his girlfriend and says, what do you want with my lovely lady Margarita or something? And then he says, why would I do that? And then they throw him a big bag of diamonds, which has literally hundreds of diamonds in, which fly out across the table. It's like, okay, so you're exchanging a bag of diamonds for a woman, okay. But then afterwards, we see them kind of coming down a kind of hillside, some steps down to a dock. There's no woman with them. But now Sleepy Brown suddenly has a silver little briefcase with him. We never know what that's about. We never get any insight into that. They then get on a little speedboat, leave a couple of bikini models behind them,
yeah.
and then they turn up at a little, I guess it was a Sunseeker boat, and the boat was called Margarita. It was just like, what? Like, what was the point of any of that? I really, I had to rewatch it a few times today to like, because I genuinely thought to myself, have I missed something?
Yeah,
Like, is there something in this story that I just haven't seen, or something that's flashed up that I haven't noticed? And no, it's just a really poorly told story in air quotes.
it is. And I'm not even gonna lie. Like I tried to understand what the guy said, the gangster said, and I couldn't. And for a moment, I thought, is that a recipe for a margarita, like a special recipe or something on that briefcase?
Come on,
Like,
man, he's
what
talking
is
English in
going
an
on?
English accent. You talk to me enough. Come on.
No, but man, we have to admit, like the way it's not because of the accent. Like he talks pretty crazy. Like it's a little different. And I was like, oh. And I was trying to understand also, like, is the boat is something is that that it is inside of briefcase? Is the woman because the one of the women is it is in the boat, right? And I was like, oh, I don't understand. But for a moment that I thought it was like a recipe for a special margarita or something. Like, oh shit.
Oh man, we need to work on your English comprehension a little bit more. But no, I
Sorry.
was also trying to work out, like, was the woman on the boat the woman from like the scene by the pool with the guy? But I don't think it was. So I was trying to piece out like which woman was which and where did she go. And I just think the boat is called Margarita, and that's what it all
Yeah.
boiled down to. And I also think there was probably meant to be more of a story, and it wasn't told sort of very well, because at the beginning of the video, it flashes up, there's some writing on the screen. It says Mallorca, Spain, 11 past 11 or something. And then when they're going to the boat, it then says the time again. It says, I don't know what it says, 20 past 3 or something like that. And then
Yeah.
right at the end of the video, it says in writing on the screen, I think it says next stop Morocco or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so I was thinking like, oh, so there must be other videos that go with this that tell the story. So I looked for the whatever video came before this, whatever came after, and nope, nothing to do with it.
Man, man, it's kind of funny to think that Margarita maybe got Sleepy Brown broke.
Yeah, there was meant to be a next part, but you just couldn't afford it after this. So
Yeah, man. No, but that's what I'm saying about the video. Like the editing is kind of because first of all, when I was trying to understand the video, I was like, oh, maybe it's just poor writing, or maybe it's the editing. But when I was paying attention to the scenes, I was like, oh, but there's another a lot of footage of those scenes. So maybe that was it. Like they didn't have a lot of time to do it, and they were like, okay, let's just do this the way it is, and that's it. Because I think it's the fault is the for of the editing. The editing is insane.
It's a combination of all of that, I think, very much so. But
Yeah.
it then makes me wonder, like, when you finish the edit and you give whoever did the edit or whichever company did it, and they hand it over to the record label and to the artist and the artist's manager, and they say, "Here's the final product. Do you approve it?" Like they all had to sit in a room and watch it and go, "Yeah, that's cool." Like I don't understand. Like, sure,
Yeah.
again, maybe somebody said, "Oh, that isn't what we want. It isn't good enough," and then whoever edited it said, "Well, it's going to cost you an extra X thousand to re-edit it and redo it and stuff like that." So they just went, "Ah,
Yeah.
fuck it, just put it out as it is."
Exactly. Then they are not going back to Mallorca just to shoot everything again. So fuck it.
Yeah, I just find it strange that they put it out in that state, in that form, with no kind of coherence to it, and just a very poorly told story. Because aside from that, like stylistically, the way it's kind of a lot of it's shot, it's of its time, of course, but it looks okay. A lot of the
Cool.
scenery's good. The color grading on it is really nice. It's got a really good feel to it. So it could have been a really good video. I think if they had just cut out
Yeah.
that story, again in air quotes, type part, and just made like a standard music video, even with the bikini clad women and stuff like that, whatever, put them on that speedboat. It would have been very, obviously would have been very similar to the track we talked about last week to a certain
True.
extent,
Yeah.
but it would have done the job. It wouldn't have like left people potentially confused watching it. And again, I'm not sure there's many people watching it trying to dig this deep into it and going, "Huh? What does that mean? And why are they doing that?"
Exactly. It's just
But
us.
exactly, yeah, just us idiots, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I agree with you like 100% because I started to get pissed off because I was paying attention because I remember like back in the day I was just watching like, oh, this is a good song, good video, all the footage and everything, like the models. So that's awesome. And I remember loving the parts of the car because they are like laid back, just singing and chilling. So and until this day, even though like you pointed it out, like it looks ridiculous, but it's still the one of my favorite scenes on the video because the
I'm
car
glad I've
is
not ruined it for you.
awesome. Yeah.
And speaking of further editing, something I noticed, this is, again, peak kind of, or leading up to peak BBC time for Pharrell, where everything
Oh,
is BBC. And he is wearing a BBC and ice cream in this video, but we don't see any logos anywhere. We see a little small ice cream logo at the end. But it looks to me like they've taken the logos out in post production for whatever reason, maybe some kind of clearance issue, or I don't know, maybe Sleepy Brown or Big Boy had deals with other clothing companies, or I don't know what it could have been.
yeah,
But we see Pharrell wearing a couple of different polo shirts, and by the looks of them, from what I could tell, they're like a French terry cloth type polo shirt. I'm fairly sure they're BBC polo shirts because I do vaguely remember them, and I think they're the ones that had the little kind of aeroplane, little jet as the logo. Now, there's
yeah,
no logos on any of these. Then he's wearing a pair of jean shorts. I'm 95% sure they're BBC because at some point you can kind of when he sat down and he kind of turns slightly, you can see one of the astronaut heads on the back pocket, just very very slightly. He's then also wearing a blue ice cream sort of new era fitted cap for a lot of the video. But again, nothing on the front whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever made hats like that. They always had a logo or something on the front. Right towards
Yeah,
the end of the
true.
video, there's a shot kind of from behind him, and you can see the small ice cream logo on the back. But the main sort of front part of the hat, you don't see anything. He's wearing a an ice cream sort of bucket hat, a running dog one, or BBC sort of bucket hat with the running dog logo on it as part of it. But yeah, I just found it strange that he had all this other kind of BBC gear on, from what I could tell, and it looks like all of the graphics and logos were removed or partly removed at least.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And I even like search for other uh, versions of the video. Like I try to search on YouTube. There's and all the videos that YouTube has from this song, like all of them, like the logos are blurred out. Yeah,
Yeah, and then also his I noticed his sneakers as well. So again, this would have been peak ice cream time, but he's not wearing any ice creams. He's just wearing what looks like a plain black pair of sneakers with some white trim around the ankle and maybe on the top of the tongue. But they're not ice creams, they're not like boutiques, and they're certainly not board flips, like ones or twos.
yeah,
They're not Bapes. They look like the front end of them looked a bit like an Air Force One kind of shape. But for the life of me, I could not work out what they were. So
yeah.
again,
True.
I don't know if he maybe was wearing ice creams or something, and in post production they've just put a black shoe on
Oh
him, perhaps.
man, more money. They spend a lot of money just blurring these things out
Yeah, exactly.
for
Yeah,
Sleepy Brown,
and not
man.
even blurring it out completely, properly removing all of this stuff. It's not
Yeah,
even like, if
yeah,
you watch the video, you obviously watch a lot of like music videos. You can sometimes see like a good example is like "Drop It Like It's Hot," where he puts the ice cream up to the screen, and that's done purposely and blurred out purposely. But they kind of pixelate it, and you can't really tell what it is if you don't know. But with this, is none of that. It's literally, it looks like they've CGI'd it out completely.
yeah, yeah. True.
So again, I would be interested to see the kind of behind the scenes or the making of a video to kind of see if he any of those logos were actually there and were apparent, because I feel like they were, but they were taken out for some reason.
Yeah, true. And it's good CGI also. Like you cannot. I think it's just us that can see that is like they erase the logos. Because if it's a normal person, like you just see the video, like you don't even notice.
You wouldn't notice, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where all the budget went. Trips to Mallorca and
yeah,
taking out brand logos. And then speaking of wardrobes, I had to mention, just like the video, the wardrobes of Sleepy Brown and Big Boy are very much of 2006.
true.
And I had to point out the kind of plaid shorts that Big Boy is wearing are absolutely possibly one of the worst pairs of shorts I've ever seen in my life.
Damn.
They're terrible.
Yeah, man, they look awful.
I hate plaid design anyway, like plaid patterns, but
Yeah.
especially on shorts. And I won't say this too loudly, but that's still really popular here in Finland. And
Oh, damn.
oh man, it makes me cringe. Oh, it's horrible. A lot of people still wear them. It's not a good look, and especially the color he's wearing, because they look like kind of white or cream sort of colored shorts, and then with
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
true.
and then the pattern is kind of yellow and browns and reds and stuff, and it's like, oh no,
Yeah, true, true. I agree.
not a good look.
Yeah, but I think the Sleepy Brown look, I agree, is super 2000s, 2005, 2006, but I think it's also Sleepy Brown look.
He looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. Like he probably like if you see him on the street, like he would probably like would be dressing like that or something like that. Super him.
Yeah, the part where he's got like the white vest and then the short sleeve shirt that's undone over the top, and the big
Yeah,
kind of very 2006 like sunglasses as well. Like it is of the
yeah,
time, but he does manage to pull it off. Whereas
yeah, true.
Big Boy with those shorts, and then also with the brown fedora hat as well, tipped to
Oh
the side.
shit.
No, it's like
Yeah.
when Justin Timberlake wore a yellow one in the video
Signs?
with yeah, in Signs, yes. Awful look, awful.
Yeah.
Sack the
Horrible.
stylist.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Damn. Yeah, like those hats, like it's super. And I think he matched with the video because is is that the classic tourist hat, right? You go to somewhere tropical that has beaches and everything, like you buy the hat while you're traveling, and you leave the hat on the hotel. And you're not going to bring back home. Like you just leave it there because it looks awful. Like
Mate,
it's a vacation hat.
I got a feeling he wears that at home in the club. 2006, man,
Oh yeah,
there were
true,
people wearing those, and I get
true.
the feeling that ain't a holiday hat. That's
Yeah, true.
yeah, not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, it's pretty dated.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the notes I had for this one. Anything else from your side that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I don't think is even that worth to is worth to mention. But since we shitting on this video, it's just to say like, oh, the margarita. Margarita is like a Mexican drink, and they go to Spain for some reason. So it's one of the other. Is another thing just to add as how they didn't think this through. Like, just go to somewhere that they speak Spanish and it's all good.
I I don't know. It's one of those things where I get the feeling that they had the song, they've got Pharrell involved. Because there's Pharrell, here's some extra budget, for you to spend on the video. And there's maybe a good chance that Pharrell was in Europe at the time touring.
Oh, true.
So it's like, where can we go that's within a 3-hour flight or whatever it might be for him to get to and then get back from, for the next leg of wherever he needs to be. And they were like, well, we kind of want this summery, sunny kind of vibe, and the song is Margarita. So yeah, let's just fucking Spain will do.
Mm-hmm. True. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's an option at least.
But right now, I'm pretty interested to understand and to know what happened after that. Like what happened with Sleepy Brown after that. What is the reason? Because I'm in loving this theory that we came up that this song might have destroyed like Sleepy Brown career.
Financially ruined him.
Can you imagine? This guy hate this song. I hate this song. Like,
Yeah, I can imagine the day where it's like you're number 8 on the charts. Oh, amazing! Yeah, it's like the bubbling under hot 100 chart or whatever. Oh fuck! Where are
yeah,
we on the real
exactly.
chart? Nowhere. Oh no! But I've just
and
spent
and
2 million on a video. No.
true, man. And to think that Moneymaker won a Grammy and this song, like Margarita, was 8 on Bubbly Under. Like, damn, man, this world is unfair.
Moneymaker makes me fucking sick. Let's not talk about it because one day we'll do an actual episode about it and I will rant.
Okay, let's do it. I'm excited about
It's up there with
it.
hot and fun for me. They're like I
Yeah.
can't decide which is worse.
Okay. I don't hate Hot and Fun to be honest.
You should. Terrible, terrible song.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
next, let's get on to some news. There's not
Okay, let's do it.
a lot of news this week. Well, there's a lot of news about one topic, and that is piece by piece. Piece
Piece
by
by
piece,
piece.
everything this week
Yes.
or the last couple of weeks. So I found this quite surprising. Obviously, we've known for a while the movie's coming. We didn't really hear much about it until the last kind of month or so when they properly announced it. But I am genuinely surprised the amount of promo and press work Pharrell is doing for this movie.
True.
If this movie flops, which it shouldn't, 'cause it's been fairly good reviews so far. But if this movie were to flop, because it obviously has a big fucking budget with all the animation, all the kind of big stars in there lending their voice to it and stuff, like this will cost an absolute fortune.
Yeah,
And
true.
like, and the amount of money they're obviously putting into the marketing as well. Flying Pharrell around everywhere. He's appearing on like every TV show under the sun. He's doing loads of interviews. They've obviously invested a lot of money in all the social media stuff as well. Their social accounts are really, really active, doing lots of giveaways and promos and stuff like that. So there's a lot of money being pumped into this. And yes, I am quite surprised at the amount of press he is doing because this is like in my mind kind of time where he was like, different country every day, different TV show every day, multiple TV shows a day, multiple interviews a day, just constantly all over the place.
Yeah, true.
So, yes, it has surprised me slightly. And obviously, he's doing all of that because there is a lot of money involved in this potentially.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, I was also surprised. Like I turned up to YouTube to see like the interview that he did with the on Apple Music. What is
Yep.
the name of the guy?
Zane Lowe.
Yeah. So I just saw the interview because I just turned up to that interview because I was like, oh, this guy actually talks about music and he actually makes some good questions. So I'm going to see it. And I was other thing that was a surprise. Like Pharrell was like pretty interesting. Like the way that he was answering the questions because he was not like I don't know, all philosopher like he was in, I don't know, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So he was like answering like pretty objectively. It was pretty cool to see. But after that interview, like the other interviews, like everybody was asking the same question. So yeah, so that turned out to be like pretty repetitive. But yeah, and one thing that I was thinking about the the way he said the entire project came up with, I think it made kind of sense that even though it costs a lot of money, but I don't know for who. I don't know if it like cost money for Pharrell, for
No, it is
Lego,
the
for
studio.
his yeah, exactly. But if you think about it, like he was a, he was supposed to do a documentary about his life, and he came and he said on the interview, "Oh, so we when we talked to the people of Lego, they were like, okay, let's do it," and they they say yes because it was interesting, and I think probably like Lego like it cost some money for them also just because it was different and they were like okay let's do this, let's see what we can do. I don't know, it feels like everybody puts some a little bit of money on this project, just because it's so different.
Yeah, well, I don't think it costs Lego anything, and Lego probably get paid if anything because they have to license the Lego
Yeah,
product
true.
from them. I think the animation studio being used is one that they've used in previous Lego movies, possibly. So Lego have a kind of do have a stake in it that one of their companies is being used to produce it. But again, they ultimately get paid for that as well. And I was just looking up like what the budget was. I don't know how accurate this is, but it was a $16 million budget which in terms of movies isn't massive.
Yeah.
And it seems that it made 3.6 million on its opening weekend. So that isn't bad, and that it also hasn't had, I don't think, a full international release yet. Like, we don't have it here in Finland yet, and I think there's
Yeah.
numerous
Not
other
even here.
countries where it isn't available yet. So
True.
3.6 on an opening weekend, and what's that? A quarter, roughly. It's about a quarter of its budget on the opening weekend. Isn't too bad.
It is not.
I think you've got to remember, this is one of those ones where I think quite a few people probably won't go to the cinema to see it because they're just like, do I want to see a Lego documentary about someone whose music I know and I like? What they'll probably do is they'll wait for it to come up on streaming platforms
Yes.
and they'll watch it there. And then you get the money from the back end from the streaming platforms and from people buying it on iTunes and things like that. So I think I don't necessarily think it will make the budget or a massive profit just from the cinematic release. But I think in the longer term, once it gets out to streaming platforms and all that sort of thing, I think it will start generating a bit more revenue. And I think if it starts ramping up, I think there's also a good chance they probably will do more merchandise as well, not just the one Lego set that we've seen so far. I think they'll start putting other bits and pieces out.
Yeah, true. And I was thinking like when I was watching the trailers and how cool it looks. Like it looks pretty cool, man. Like from the trailers, like man, this can be like a pretty awesome movie. And I was thinking how about like you said, like it's not going to be releasing in a lot of countries, and it probably it's not gonna take too long to go to the streaming servers. And I think, oh, it might be like it might happen the same thing that happened with Happy, for example. Like I think they shot the video and Happy like turned out to be a success like after 6 months, something like that. And I think this can happen with this movie also. If it really is cool as it looks, it can happen on streaming service. And like you said, and then they are going to invest on merchandising, other Lego pieces, and I don't know, t-shirts, toys, whatever.
Yeah, and I noticed during the promo stuff, Lego have also released, or people that work at Lego have done some interviews and stuff like that as well, talking about the process of developing that Lego set, and they've released different images of other prototypes that they had, and also at one of the premieres as well, they had a lot of the kind of prototype Lego sets. So there is other stuff they've developed, and they've obviously done prototypes of. So there is the opportunity to put other sets out there if it sort of sells well, or if the movie itself does well.
Mm.
But just coming back to that Zane Lowe interview that you mentioned, I'd recommend people like go watch that one because I know there's a lot of Pharrell interviews at the moment, obviously because this movie is happening, and a lot of them are, let's say, fairly sort of generic interviews, a lot of the same questions, a lot of the same answers that you would expect to get from Pharrell when he's in kind of promo mode. But I think, yeah, he's known Zane Lowe for many years. They get on kind of personally as well, from what I can tell. And yeah, there's some interesting answers there, and it's an interesting conversation. It's about an hour long, I think, and it even gets to the point towards the end where Zane Lowe mentions Chad, and they don't obviously go into it, but he mentions Chad because obviously Chad features in the movie and obviously voiced his own part as well, which and they've obviously
Yeah,
kept it in. It's obviously been integral to the movie or part of the movie.
yeah,
And Pharrell obviously says like, what's happened has happened, and I wish him all the best, and all that sort of thing. So he gives a kind of political answer, but interesting that it just kind of comes up, and I wouldn't have expected that topic to have been mentioned. I would have even thought they would have told him beforehand, like, yeah, please don't bring this up, please don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was an interesting one. And one thing I would also mention that I forgot about, and I just added to the notes as we were sort of as you were talking, his Hot One appearance last week. Did you watch it
What?
on Hot Ones?
Oh yeah, I watch it. Yeah.
That's that surprised me as well.
True.
I think I said in one of the comments on Instagram, maybe on P Williams World or something. I said it's going
Hmm.
to go one way or the other. He will either smash it or he'll do a Pusha T, and he'll get halfway through and he'll just go fuck it, I don't care. And
Yeah.
I think back then, Sean Evans, the host, was saying to Pusha like, "Oh, people on the internet get a bit upset if you don't finish it," and Pusha was like, "Fuck it, I don't care about the internet, whatever."
Exactly.
Depending on what mood you get Pharrell in, it could have easily have gone that way as well, where he's just like,
Yeah, true.
it's too much for me. I'm really not in the mood for this. I can't be bothered. I don't need to do it. But I'll sit here and answer your questions because, I've kind of got to do it. But
Yeah,
he got through it. He got through it pretty
true.
well, and
Yeah,
he
he
had some
was
good
sweating,
answers.
man.
He was proper sweating. Yeah, his chin was
Yeah.
sweating. It was weird,
Exactly.
but he was quite good. He had some good answers as well. He was quite funny in a couple of places. So
True.
good to see him not give the usual generic political answers to everything as we're kind of used to seeing over the last few years. Good to see him actually putting a bit of personality into some of these interviews that he's doing at the moment. But the Hot Ones episode was, yeah, it surprised me. It was much better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, one thing that I was missing about Pharrell interviews, especially comparing to the interviews that he did on the 2000 era. It was he's a funny guy, he's have a pretty good sense of humor. And after the girl album, like he was always like you said, like giving like pretty political answers, like pretty well trained, always the same answers, and it was pretty cool to see. Not just like he giving like cool and interesting and different answers, but it was cool to see him like being funny again. Not just he was not being funny like he used to be, but he was doing like other type of funny. It was pretty cool. And I was even talking with some other Neptunes fans. How was like at the last, I don't know, the last year, I was I was not caring a lot about what Pharrell was doing right now, and I think one of the reasons was because of those interviews, like the last interviews that we saw from, I don't know, for the last 5 years. I was always the same answers and boring answers, and the the hot ones like kind of gave me like, oh shit, that I remember how why I like Pharrell Williams, why I love this man. Like he's pretty cool also. Like he still can be pretty cool. So yeah, and even the Zane Lowe interview was all also like was pretty cool. Like you mentioned, like when he talks about Shad, I was not even prepared for that. Like I stopped everything to just like, okay, let's see what he's going to answer. And even though he was like pretty political with his answer, he was also like he gives something, just a little bit, like, oh, because I remember when Zen said, oh, I understand if you don't want to talk about it because it's personal, and he was like, no, no, it's okay, it's just different. So he didn't talk bad about Shed. He didn't talk like pretty good stuff about Shed, but he said like the relationship was different, and you can like make a picture on your mind what is different, you know. And I think it was a pretty good answer, and he handled it well. So it was a moment that was like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna give like some respect for Pharrell Williams again, especially with a subject matter that is sensible right now for him. So yeah,
Yeah, good to see. Like I say, good to see some of that personality coming out again, which I think we've missed over the years, where he's been sort of Mister Humble, Mister Sensible.
yeah. I think the last interview that was awesome to see was when he was drunk with Noriega. That interview was
Yeah,
awesome, man. I think I saw like 5 times already, and it's 3 hours.
that was a good
But
one.
it's just because he's yeah, he was awesome. Like he was giving like pretty honest answers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
A few other piece by piece bits that we've got here to mention. The soundtrack is now out on all streaming platforms. There's
yes,
4 or 5 new songs, something like that. And then the rest is kind of other songs that feature throughout the movie that he's previously, you know, produced or featured on and stuff like that. Annoyingly, here in Finland, and I don't know what it is like elsewhere around the world, only the new tracks were available to listen to.
oh
All of the other ones were like, sorry, it's not available in your region. So there's obviously some licensing issues going on there as well, at least on Apple Music. But the soundtrack is now out. Some good new tracks on there. I haven't listened to them properly, kind of over and over yet. I've only listened to them maybe once or twice, but sounds good so far.
yeah,
There's also a limited edition LP of the album out on pharrellwilliams.com. From what it says on there, it is a pharrellwilliams.com exclusive. So if you want a vinyl copy of the soundtrack, you can get on there and buy it. I think I ordered a copy. I think it said it ships November or December or something. So it's a little while off yet. And it does say there's limited numbers. So if you do want one, get on there. There'll be a link in the show notes to it as well. And then also, slightly surprisingly, a BBC capsule collection as well, based on
yeah, man.
some of the items we see him wearing in the movie. Now, when I first saw the kind of promo posts for this, and they said they were bringing back some, classic items that he's seen, wearing in the film, I thought they were going to bring back the actual original designs, but they haven't. They've got the original designs, but they've kind of Lego-fied them. So
Oh,
the astronaut head is actually a Lego head now with a helmet on and stuff like that. I did look at them. There's only, what is there, 7 or 8 items maybe. There's a couple of t-shirts, hoodies. There's
yeah,
a Billionaire Girls Club hoodie. There's a trucker hat. Yeah, but a mixture of items. Nothing that really piqued my interest too much, but I like the fact they're doing it. And it's an interesting take on like the kind of classic designs and tying it into the movie really well.
yeah. True. I thought it was creative. Like even though they didn't change a lot, but I think it was creative to bring those back, like the way that they brought it, and especially the astronaut design with the logo head or with the Lego head. Like, oh man, it was so cool. It's so simple, but it's so cool. Yeah. If I would buy something like, I would buy that T-shirt. Yeah. That's one of my favorites from those set.
Yeah, in the coming days or weeks, I might sort of try and check them out again, see if they've sold out, and if they haven't, yeah, I might grab one. Like I say, there's nothing there that made me think immediately like, wow, I've got to buy one of those. But if there's still
Yeah.
some floating around in a few weeks' time, then I might sort of pick one up.
Yeah. Nice.
And then other Pharrell music, I think this is the last item on the list. More doodles and doodleverse stuff. There is a new doodleverse video out now on YouTube. I think the track is called Doodleverse with Swally, Little Yachty again, and Pharrell. I think Pharrell sings the hook on it or something. This has been in my list to look at for the last week or so since it came out. I had a quick look at it earlier, um, in terms of the video on YouTube. Let's just say it wasn't my kind of thing. Have you had a listen to this
Yeah.
one yet?
No, no, not even. Yes, because I think it's like Pharrell and everybody's involved. Like it's not talking about it enough. So I always forget about this stuff, and they are releasing stuff like for a while now, but I haven't seen anything like just the things that they put out on Instagram. But I didn't even listen to the song to be honest. I
It's a
totally
shame because I
forgot.
think the whole Doodle First thing is a movie and obviously has a soundtrack that goes with it,
Yeah,
but it's just been overshadowed by piece by piece.
yeah, of course.
You know, they're coming out around the same time. The music's being released at about the same time. He could, in theory, be promoting both of them, but I think that's maybe too much
Yeah,
work for one man. And when your own documentary has had $16 million pumped into it, you've probably got to focus your attention on that.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the Doodleverse stuff, yeah, is getting overshadowed slightly, but I'd be interested to kind of sit down and watch it all kind of properly and see what it's kind of all about once everything is out
Yeah.
there.
Did they release any like merchandising for it?
Not that I've seen myself, no. There
Yeah.
could be something out there, but I don't know. Not that I've seen.
Yeah, it can be pretty cool. Like Doodles is like a good concept to do merchandising, t-shirts and everything. They
Yeah, again, because
should.
it's they obviously turn the characters into animations. They've got a very specific style, don't they? So it would be interesting to see, like, even you look at the characters in the videos of Pharrell and the other kind of artists that have been in these tracks. You could make like figures out of those plushy type things, even
True.
stuff like just putting those characters onto accessories or stickers or whatever else it might be. I think you could do quite well there.
Yeah, true.
I'm
Agree.
just very quickly trying to like in the background Google Google the doodles and see if they do actually have anything. I'm just trying to look at their page. So you can actually watch the movie thing now already. You can
Oh,
pay to
okay.
watch it. It's on sale at the
Oh,
moment for $4.99. It is
okay.
19 minutes long, so it's like a short movie, short film. And yeah, but there doesn't really seem to be anything else. So yeah, they've got like a bunch of merchandise. Now they do have a collaboration with Adidas, so that kind of ties into the Pharrell stuff, I imagine. One of the characters from one of the videos is it Coyle Ray, I think, in one of the songs, and she's got like a
Okay.
sunflower kind of head. There is a vinyl figure of that coming out. You can
Oh,
pre-order
nice.
it now. There's some Adidas t-shirts, and then yeah, then the other stuff they have is just their sort of generic type thing. So there's kind of a tie-in there. To be fair, the Adidas hoodie does look actually quite nice. I'm gonna have to close that window now before I go and order something. But yeah, let's hope we do see some more merch around that because that would be interesting. And they do those kind of vinyl figures and collectible figures, so that's the sort of thing I'd be interested in and would potentially buy.
Yeah, true.
And then speaking of buying, I think the last few weeks we've talked about pickups and stuff we've been getting and things. So I may as well mention some things I bought today and then some things I didn't buy today that I'm looking for. So obviously doing the research for this song, I kind of hunt around the internet for bits of information, whether it's reviews or articles or interviews, whatever it might be. And the website Discogs always comes up. Now I normally look on there because you can find additional bits of information about who worked on certain tracks and when specific records were released and whether there were remix records released and all that kind of thing. And when I went on there today, they had Margarita. They had it on vinyl for sale. So I thought, oh, I'll click on that. I'll have a look. It was a fairly good price. It was only a couple of euros. So I thought that's a bargain. I might buy that. About €2 for the vinyl, then maybe €6 or something for shipping. But then there was a minimum order from that seller, so I thought, okay, I'll flick through their kind of catalog of things they're selling, and yeah, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole and ended up with, I think, 17 records that I've
Damn.
purchased.
Damn,
All
man.
obviously all Neptune's things, and the vast majority of them are kind of promo versions of Neptune's productions for other artists. So there's a couple of Latrell items in there, a couple of fabulous ones, a couple of Ray J, Tony Braxton, Usher, The Licks, Babyface, Lupe, Beanie Man, LL,
Mm.
702, Philly's Most Wanted, a couple of them. Then obviously Margarita as well, which was in there. So yeah, they were doing a flat rate for shipping as well. So it was €10 to ship me 17 bits of vinyl, which I think is going to cost them a lot more than that. And I think all of the vinyl, the average price is like €1.50 each. So I think I
That's
got
insane.
17 vinyls shipped across Europe for a grand total of, I want to say it was like €32 or something.
Jesus.
So yeah, if you're on the lookout for Neptune's related vinyl, I recommend head over to Discogs and you can go to the seller Vinyl Farm EU, and they have a fairly extensive catalog, not just of obviously of Neptune stuff, of all sorts of music, and some good prices, good shipping as well. So go check them out. And then one other thing I was trying to buy today, but didn't manage to get hold of, so I'm still looking for it. If somebody out there wants to help me, is today there was meant to be a release of a new Nike Air Max 90 called the Dark Russet colorway, which is basically like a brownie iridescent colorway, similar to the Skepta Air Max 97s that came out a few years ago. Now, they were meant to drop today. I saw one place had a raffle and I missed the raffle. And apart from that, I couldn't find it any more online anywhere. And I came across a couple
Okay.
of other places saying they were actually going to release on the 31st of this month, I think. So slightly conflicting information. But if anyone out there knows of anywhere where these are on sale, please contact me. Please get in touch. I desperately need to buy a pair of these. I really want these. So, yes, if you know where they're on sale, let me know. If you happen to get a pair and you have a pair going spare, EU size 43, I will buy them off of you. Name your price. Otherwise, yes, I will keep checking the internet, and hopefully later in the month we may get a European release for them or a more widespread release.
What is the what is the name of the model? Like, is the Air Max 90? But what is the
Yeah,
name of the?
Dark Russet.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I saw some photos of it.
RUSSET. Yeah. So they are, I think they're beautiful. I've seen a lot of people not like them. I think a lot of people don't
It's cool.
necessarily like them because I think Skepta came out publicly recently and said, his last version of 97s were being ripped off. And I did also see today or this afternoon that they're also now being called the Halloweens. So
What?
they've got a slightly different name as well, depending like where you look online. So yeah, again, if anyone comes across these, I'll put an image in the show notes so people know what I'm sort of talking about. If you spot these anywhere, yeah, let me know because I will buy them instantly.
Okay, nice. I can look for you. Also, like I have some people that do resell here in Spain. I'll check with them to see if they got it.
Yeah, if you spot them anywhere, yeah, please let me know.
They look good. I like
I
it.
really like them. Yeah, I really like that kind of
Mm,
iridescent kind of color to them.
yeah, I like the contrast of the green with the what is this color? Bronze.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, it
bronzy sort
looks
of color.
awesome.
Yeah, and I'm gutted I missed out on the Skepta Air Max 97s a few years ago. I meant to get a pair. forgot about it, missed out. They then obviously started reselling for quite a lot of money. And I've kept my eyes peeled since then, but never managed to actually get hold of a pair. So again, if anyone out there has a pair of the Skepta Air Max 97s in a 42 and a half, 43, again, let me know.
Okay, nice.
Anything else from your side, Rafa?
No, man, I think this is it.
Cool. We can wrap it up there then. I was thinking and hoping this was going to be quite a short one, but we went longer than expected as usual. Seems to always be the way now. So
Yeah, that's good.
we'll wrap it up. You can find the show notes hopefully in the podcast player of your choice. You can also head over to the website, theothers.net, and find the show notes and all the links over there. You can find the podcast online at Otherz Podcast pretty much everywhere. You can find me online at Steve R. Penny pretty much everywhere. And Rafa, where are you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram as Rafito underline Zurich, and you can also look for my work. I do some people already know, but if there's new listeners listening right now, I do some sneaker posters, so you can find all my art on Sneaker Cartel 2, the number 2 at the end. So at Sneaker Cartel 2.
Cool. And as I say, links will be in the show notes to those. So head over there and give Rafa a follow and buy his stuff,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes, please. I need it.
He's got all his travels coming up. He's traveling Europe. He needs the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to buy some more sneakers, so with you guys have to support my I will call like this a disease. It's not a I just don't like sneakers. This is a disease.
It is. It's an illness. It really is. Truly is. But
Yeah.
if you go over to Rafa's page and you do see stuff that you like, as we just mentioned, like give him a follow because he will be at various sneaker kind of conventions over the next month or so. So you may be able to catch him in different places and actually see him in real life.
Yes, exactly. Give me a shout out if you see me on this. I'm going to be at Sneakerness on Rotterdam and Budapest. I'm going to be there's this other event that is called Sneaker Belgium. Is going to be in Antwerp, and then I'm going to be at Berlin. What the event is called Crap City. So yeah, if you guys are listening and you guys are live in one of those cities, you can come by. I'm going to have a table in there. Like, give me a shout out, and that's it.
Nice. Yeah, make sure you do that.
Let me just say, uh, uh, I think it was 2 days ago. I only have time like 2 days ago, but I listened to the episode with Doug, and it was pretty cool, man. Shout out to Doug or James, whatever his name is.
Yeah, shout out James.
Yeah, man.
I might see if I can rope him back into joining again in a couple of weeks if you're not available. Let's see how we do it.
Yeah, yeah, man. And I don't know if I don't know if it's it's too messy, but we can try to do a episode with the three of us. It can
Yep,
be cool.
definitely. It's doable.
Yeah,
We'll try and arrange it.
yeah, let's try.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone, we will wrap it up there. I will hopefully speak to you all again in a couple of weeks. If I don't, it'll be sometime soon after that once Rafa's back from his travels.
Yes.
But in the meantime, thanks for listening. We'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.